At the young age of 20, I had to take on the role of becoming the breadwinner and providing for my family. Don't get me wrong, I didn't become the breadwinner because I became a millionaire through crypto or drop shipping or anything like that. I'm just your regular 9 to 5 salary girl trying to make it out in the big corporate world. It's been a difficult journey, but there's a saying that I keep really close to my heart, that every cloud has a silver lining. As tough as this experience has been, it's taught me so much about life that I wouldn't trade it for the world. And through this video, I wanted to share these lessons without you having to go through these difficult experiences. I mean, of course, I'm pretty sure you have your own difficulties as well. I'm just saying that I wanted to share my experiences without you having to go through what I went through. Anyways, let's go ahead with it. So a little backstory of my life and what circumstances led me to having to become the breadwinner in the first place. For as long as I could remember, my dad was an alcoholic. Our family was just middle class income. We weren't well off, but we were okay. But my core memories of my parents' relationship is them constantly fighting about money, constantly fighting about my dad's alcoholism. And as that progressed, when I was 13, they split up. During the split, there were a bunch of other factors too, and just everything combined, I guess, made my mom really stressed, and I was pretty much the emotional outlet for it. I don't really blame her, I guess, because I know that their generation especially, they weren't really taught how to process their emotions or express them in healthier ways or look for ways to soothe their emotions. You know, I feel like nowadays we have a lot more resources to teach ourselves that and to process them in a healthy way. But even though I was still pretty young, I wanted to be there for my mom, and my way of being there for her was to just take that all on and just to be like, okay, it's fine, you know, you can use me as your outlet. And from that, it grew into this feeling of wanting to protect her. I explicitly remember when we go grocery shopping and stuff, I wouldn't let her carry the heavy bags. I have such a clear image in my head of her walking in front of me with one little green bag, and I was in this blue dress and I was like carrying like 3-4 bags on my own. And I remember thinking to myself, it's really heavy, but it's okay. I will take on all the heaviness. And I guess that's where that mentality kind of started, that I will take on everything that I can. I was 13. It's kind of crazy that that mentality started from such a young age. But you know, I guess that led me to the person that I am today, so wouldn't change it for the world. So a year after the split, I'm about 14 by this time. My mom is the only one providing for us, and you know, I knew that we were not financially capable for me to continue on to university at the rate that we were going. And I would have panic attacks at night because that's the only route that I know, right? That's the only life path that I know, to finish high school, to go to university and get a job. Because the belief was that you need a university degree to get a good job and to continue forth with life. So I saw this train coming, and I was already really anxious about it. But even before the university train, I had to drop out of high school because I couldn't afford to go there anymore. A little bit of context, I went to an international high school because the government school system in my country really sucks, and I couldn't transfer after dropping out of the international school because the two systems are really different and I just wouldn't be able to adapt by that point. So I was 16, I was feeling really lost. I felt like my life was in shatters, like I did not see a way forward, and I was just really embarrassed about the whole situation. So I just cut off all my friends as well because I grew up with them, and you know, not being able to continue going on to school anymore, I just felt really embarrassed to face them. So I just isolated myself from everybody, which was not a great thing to do. So because I was going through a really tough time, I could have used a friend, but I have a lot of defenses when it comes to like my stuff that I'm going through. I just like to go through them alone. I wasn't really that emotionally mature yet either, so I just really isolated myself. But lucky enough, I was able to get a business specialized diploma in Singapore. It was just a 1-year course. It's not necessarily like a high school diploma, but you know, I got a certificate, I guess. But even with that certificate, like after the diploma, I went back to being lost again.
Uh-oh, here we go again.
Because it's not a university degree, so it wasn't recognized in the same way that a university degree would be. And I couldn't go on to uni, so I went back to not knowing what to do with my life. Although, I didn't really see a way forward, I tried to create one for myself. I was reading self-help books. I was just like really focused on them because I always had this belief that even though I'm not able to learn technical skills in university, if I developed my mindset well enough, I am able to create whatever opportunities I want for myself. I really knew the value of my mindset at a very young age, and I'm very, very grateful for that. So yeah, I was reading self-help books and I was also self-studying Japanese. I didn't know why. I just thought that, oh, even if I'm not able to learn anything else, I'll learn a new language because that can be an asset for myself. So even though I don't really use it anymore today, the discipline that I learned from self-studying Japanese, because there was so much to learn and it was like on my own time, and I knew that my progress depended on my discipline. Then coincidentally, a chance came for me to use my Japanese skills. So about like 3 to 4 months after I started to learn Japanese, I reached to like an intermediate level, which is pretty fast, but I was able to focus on it like every day. So, I had the time to really like learn. And I found out about this scholarship by the Japanese government where they send you to university and also give you a monthly allowance to spend. So if I got that, I wouldn't need any support from my family whatsoever, and I'd be able to independently, move forward with my life. It was a selection among like 200 applicants. You had to go through rounds of exams and interviews, and ultimately an interview with one representative of the Japanese government. I got to the final round. It was just me and one other girl, but she got selected because she did a lot better in high school than I did. Well, I didn't finish high school, so like you see where I kind of lost. So yeah, after I didn't get selected, I was really gutted because I went back to being lost again one more time. And then my mom quit her job. So I was 19 at this time, and after all of that, my mom quit her job because she just couldn't take it anymore. She was very unhappy with where she was at, and she was trying to find another job, but she couldn't find one, and that lasted for about a year. So by the time I turned 20, I was like, no, I need to step up. I need to take this on. I need to provide some sort of stability for our family. And so I started looking for jobs. I started applying, and then I got one.
Yay!
And from that, my marketing and PR career just started. And honestly, with everything that I went through, I see all of it as a good thing. So just a little bit of a self-intro. If you're new here, I'm Teresa, and I create videos for self-development and mental and physical well-being. I was fortunate enough to learn all the things that I did and get myself out of the really dark times that I went through. And I try to pay it forward through these videos to hopefully impact people the way that I was impacted by these lessons. If you're enjoying this video, thank you for the like and subscribing. And continuing on. Through this difficult journey, I had a lot of struggles. I'm laying it bare right now and bringing you through the darkest parts of my mind through this journey, because I want to show you that dark thoughts are normal and they don't define you or make you a bad person. It all depends on how you express those thoughts and what you do with them that matters. Of course, I'm human too, and as much as I would like to consider myself to be one, I am not a saint. I went through stages of feeling really sorry for myself, like just a lot of self-pity. For the most part, I'd be okay. Like, I felt proud of what I was doing, that I was able to provide for my mother and allow her to not work anymore. But when I was stressed, or when I started feeling really anxious about my future or anything like that, I started feeling a lot of resentment towards the situation, towards the fact that I had to carry all of this responsibility, and therefore that led me to resenting my mom a little bit as well. And sometimes that self-pity can turn into feelings of superiority, because when you feel like a victim, you start to become entitled. I felt like I wasn't living for myself anymore, and that I was just living for other people, and I just didn't feel like I had freedom over my own life. Even with the amount of self-awareness that I had at that time, at that age, difficult emotions in difficult situations are just hard to process and can be easy to express in unhealthy ways. So my previous role before I had this job, I had to deal with really toxic clients, and it was just a really unnecessarily demanding job, and so I just started getting really anxious a lot of the time, and I had like one mental breakdown a week. So by the time it was about 6 months into that role, I really considered quitting. It took me 2 months to consider it, and I was like, no, I need to go. Like, this is not healthy for me at all, and I'm just going to burn out at some point, and I don't want that. I was just so miserable in that role, honestly. And I know I had to tell my mom about it, and I know she wouldn't take it well. But I was really fortunate because a few months after that conversation with my mom, I got this job that moved me to London. So throughout this journey, I'm into my 5th year of being the breadwinner now, and I've learned so many lessons that just completely transformed my mindset because I had a responsibility. I had to become a better person. Like, there was a bigger force pushing me to become a better person, and there were just these like little mental shifts that helped me to get there, and I wanted to share them with you. The first one that I wanted to emphasize, and the one that I keep trying to remind myself of every day, is that stress comes from rejecting reality. Let that sink in for a little bit. The more you reject your reality, the worse your circumstances and your situation will seem to you. Rejecting reality can come in the form of thoughts like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. I hate everyone. I hate everything. Why is this happening to me? Why me? Like, for example, if you have a really difficult colleague or a difficult friend and you don't really like the way that they work or the way that they are towards you, when you reject the way that they are, then you're just causing that friction between what is and how you want them to be, and it just causes a lot of stress and a lot of resentment inside of you. Whereas if you accept them for who they are, then you can just kind of think of ways to move forward. For example, how can I help them work in a better way? Or how can I address the way that my friend treats me? You see the path forward instead of just being stuck on the problem and not getting anywhere with it, and it just causes a lot of friction and just starts like burning inside you, right? When you take in and accept reality for what it is, the path forward becomes so much clearer to you. Because again, you'll see solutions when you're not fixated on the problems. And when you focus on solutions, you're focusing on things that you can control, not what's outside of your control. Because when you focus on things that are not within your control, you're just going to create more anxiety, more stress, because you can't do anything about it. Being able to take action soothes our anxiety. The second lesson is that you are the one who chooses to be a victim or a victor in your life circumstances. You're only a victim if you consider yourself to be. I know it's hard to accept, but once you do accept it, then you can change your life for the better. Because when you consider yourself to be a victim, you're just gonna be stuck where you're at, and you're gonna grow resentment towards the world, towards your life, and you're just gonna start feeling like everything is unfair, and your mentality is just going to be really negative. And when your mind is just focusing on the problems, you're going to be attracting more problems in your life, because that's where your attention is at. Also, feeling like a victim can be very addicting, because you feel like the world owes you something, and you never want to be in that place because the world does not owe you anything. And you will learn to realize that in a very hard way if you continue to choose to be a victim. And I chose to see myself as a victor because no matter what I was going through in the present moment, I knew that at the end of the road, I would come out as a winner.
Winner!
I knew that whatever I was working on, my hard work would pay off and I would achieve victory. The third lesson is to have a reason that is bigger than yourself. Having a reason that is bigger than just yourself to work hard and to keep moving towards your goals will keep you motivated in the long run. And you just feel more fulfilled when you achieve the things that you set out to do. The fourth lesson is that faith is important. I'm not talking about religion or like a god or anything like that. If you have that, then that's great for you. But for those that don't believe in that, then it doesn't have to be a religion or a god. For the people who don't believe in God or religion and still need something to believe in, it can be something like the law of attraction, or even as simple as karma, the belief that you will get back what you give out to the world, whether it be good or bad. Or it can be faith in the laws that rule this universe, because there is a force that is bigger than us, and you need to believe in that. And of course, most importantly, you need to have faith in yourself, that you are able to overcome any challenges that life throws at you, and not just overcome, but come out as the victor out of everything that you've been through. The fifth lesson is that balance is key in any area of life. I'm not just talking about like a work-life balance. That is super important though. I'm not saying that it's not, but I'm talking about balance in all areas. So with my circumstances of being the breadwinner in particular, as much as I felt fulfillment from working hard for my mother, for the sake of my mother, I realized that I needed to live for myself too. I was giving everything that I made, everything that I had to her, and that made me feel a sense of resentment towards my circumstances. When I started living more for myself, at first I felt like I was being selfish, but I knew that this was what I needed to do in order to be able to go longer and do better so that I can, eventually create an even better life where I can live my best life and also give her the best that I can. This was what I needed to do to be able to move forward in the long run. So the entire experience pretty much taught me to overcome my feelings of guilt for living for myself and to just love myself better. And finally, this whole experience allowed me to find my purpose. And despite all the struggles and the dark thoughts that I had from time to time, instead of letting myself wallow in self-pity, I just focus on the feeling of fulfillment, the feeling of gratitude that I get for being able to retire my mother, especially because I know she doesn't enjoy her job. And through focusing on that feeling of fulfillment, it made me realize that what makes my heart full of joy is serving others. This is how I show love, how I give love to the world. And this is what I feel like gives my life, my existence, meaning in this world. And upon realizing that, I make it my intention to live out my purpose on a day-to-day basis. How I do that is I try to be aware of my surroundings every day to see if there are people who need my help. And it doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be something like carrying someone's groceries for them if they're really heavy and they look like they need help, or just like tourists around the city, if they look like they're lost, I would just go up to them and ask if they need any help. Or if I see people just like taking pictures by themselves, I would kind of assume, oh, they might want pictures with them, like of them in the pictures, so it doesn't hurt to ask, and if they say no, I can just walk away. And if they say yes, then I would have helped them get what they wanted and they'll be happy. So my intention is to make someone's life a little bit easier, a little bit better on a day-to-day basis with, just small things that I can do. Because, I'm not able to do super big things yet, like donate a huge amount to charity and stuff like that, but I'm doing what I can. This YouTube is also one of them. So the conclusion and some key takeaways that I do want to reiterate at the end of this video is that life does not give you situations that you cannot handle. You will always be a victor if you choose to be. So don't think of yourself as a victim. There's nothing good that can come out of that. Like, you can be proud of the things that you've been through, right? But don't see yourself as a victim to what you've been through. Shift your mentality that life happens for you, not to you, right? Everything that happens is just so that you get closer to the life that you want. Even if it's not great right now, it's necessary for you to get to where you want to be. When you see things like that, every single difficulty becomes like a boss in a game, right? Like, you overcome that and then you get to the next level and then to the next level and then you win the game. So yeah, when you see it like that, life just becomes a little bit more exciting. Every challenging situation becomes a little bit more exciting because you focus on the solution. You're like, okay, what can I do to solve this, right? So yeah, I'm getting a bit carried away, but you get the idea. And the next one is, when you're giving to others, don't forget to give to yourself too, because you can't give anything from an empty well. Like, you have to give love to yourself to be able to give love to others. So this is the end of it. I hope my story inspires you to see the positive out of everything that life throws at you and come out of every single situation as stronger and better. I'm wishing you the best. If you enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button and subscribe for future content. I will see you in the next one. Bye.